Okay, this is chapter 16 of the Swiss Family Robinson. How to ride an ostrich. We had a great ride, galloping the whole way back in the sun, Fritz told us, and then coming over a hill we saw an antelope. We were going to hunt them, but then we thought we should try and drive them as a herd. We rode down the hill yelling and shouting, continued Jack, and we drove them along with dogs. Great work, boys, I said. You've done an important thing, but I have to warn you that rabbits you caught might be a problem. Now that you have them, you might find you want to be rid of them. Soon there'll be too many. That is why we think we should put them on Stark Island, Father, answered Fritz. I caught them, said Jack, and you should have seen Storm and Grumble and the dogs and I chasing them. It was amazing. And then, he continued, excited, we saw a cuckoo, and it followed it as it hopped away. Franz thought it might be an enchanted princess under his spell. Fritz told us it would lead us to honey, and he was right. Sure enough, it led us to a bee's nest. We must have scared them because the bees flew out and stung me all over. I jumped on Storm and ran off, but they followed me the whole way. Out of breath, Jack ran off to check on his rabbits. The next day we went to check on the ostriches we had found. Jack and Franz ran ahead, and suddenly we were upon these giant birds. This time we found a pair in the bush and were quick to try and catch them. Again our lassos came in handy. As Jack and Franz drove the ostriches out of the reeds, Fritz set loose his eagle, which confused one. As the ostrich faltered, Jack chased it down, bravely threw out his lasso and tied it around its wings and its body. It fell and we ran up onto it, but it was kicking madly. Finally, I put a hood over its eyes to calm it down. We had ourselves an ostrich to try and tame. I'm going to make a saddle so I can ride him, declared Jack. At this point, the boys started arguing about who was going to be the owner of the bird. I think I should have him, said Franz. Each one of the boys had a reason for wanting the ostrich for their own. Finally, I settled it by saying that it was Jack's bird to train. And, I added, if he can tame it and saddle it, he can keep it. The boys agreed, and Jack seemed up for the challenge. We threw the ostrich over the back of Storm, and the boys headed out to take it back to camp, where we would get ready to set back for our winter home to load in our supplies. The next morning we made our way home with our new walking bird. Soon we came through our farmyard to find it in good shape. Our animals were healthy, and it made us want to see our home in Rockburg even more. Our chicken, pigs, and goats were all growing their families. We'd also come across a herd of antelope that Fritz and Jack had driven down. We watched them browsing in the reeds and talked about how beautiful they were. While we were at the farm, we fixed what we could, and we rode off to Rockburg the next morning. But by then, we were all thrilled to be back, and we threw open the doors and the windows and aired out our home. Jack worked on taming the ostrich. I tried to hatch the eggs by wrapping them in cotton and heating them in over the stove. The next day, Fritz and I headed to Shark Island to start our rabbit colony and to transport a pair of antelope. Then it was time to turn our mind back to our house and stowing our goods. Jack's ostrich was proving difficult to train and seemed weak and sad. Finally, we managed to feed it balls of flour mixed with butter. It seemed to perk up, straightening out its long strike for another mouthful. Soon it was back to full strength and quite tame. We're amazed to watch it eat all kinds of grain and fruit, washing it down with small pebbles to digest its food. After a month of training, it would walk and gallop on command. But could we saddle an ostrich? I made a kind of hood for it with straps on to hold it and built a small saddle that strapped under it. When the bird was ready, we decided to call it Master Hurricane because of its speed. When we tried riding the ostrich, we were amazed how quickly it could run. We were able to go between Rockburg, which was quickly becoming our permanent place to live, and Falconhurst in no time at all. The bird was so fast that the boys once again argued about who owned it. I had to jump in and make a decision. The ostrich is Jack's, I said. We may all use it if we need, but it is Jack's pet. And so Jack had his Master Hurricane to ride. Our journey being successful, and we all felt secure and safe settling in for the season.